Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have two more, the last two columns, borders that we're doing for It's a Small World. And so just a little bit more paper art. I hope you'll bear with me. I think they'll turn out pretty cute, so I hope we can get these two together. And actually, I'm going to do them at two separate times, so there will be a break in between the first one and the second one. But they should all both fit in this video, so hopefully that'll work. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. Alright, so here's my workspace for today, and we have one more column to do for our It's a Small World before we'll be done. So these are the first two that we did for this particular layout, and you might recall that these two are inside of a peekaboo pocket, so that's why they're kind of shiny and a little harder to see, but check out the videos, the two videos just previous to this one, and you'll be able to see how these were put together. And then you can see this starts showcasing some of the photos that were from the ride during the holiday season a couple years back, year and a half ago. A year and a half, guys, almost a year and a half ago. Wow. That was a long time. Okay, so I'm ready to be done with Disney, but we do still have a few more to do for Disney, so we are going to be hanging in there for just a little bit longer, completing our Disney experience. So bear with me. We're going to do one more column today. All right, so this first column, we are going to grab some white shimmer paper. And this is what's left of my 3-inch column that I cut in the last video that we did. And so this is a 3 inches across this way. I'm going to cut this into, let's see, I'm going to cut a 2-inch piece. And then let me see if I can get a 2.5-inch piece. Oh, good. Okay, so 2.5-inch piece from this also. Great. Okay, so those will be for different sections that we're going to do. I'm going to grab my white shimmer paper and cut just a couple more pieces. So I'm going to cut another column that's 3 inches wide. There we go. 3 inches wide. And you'll recall that I have this is white cardstock, and I add the white shimmer on top of it in different sections so you can actually see that there are different blocks. So that's why we have a base, and then we're cutting additional pieces to go on top of it. Okay, so I need another piece that's going to be 2.5. So 2 inches, 2.5 inches, another that's 2.5 inches, and let's see, I need one more that's 2, and one more that's going to be cut out of gold paper, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so now what I need is I need a 2-inch piece of gold, which is not quite what I've got there. That's going to be 2 inches, so that'll work. Okay, so we're going to go 2 inches like that. We're going to cut it just shy of 3 inches going this way. And then we're going to take this piece of gold and we're going to cut it in half. So I'm going to move it across and put it right between 1.5 on this side and 1.5 on this side. So it's going to be just shy of both of those marks. and I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, then we're going to make 2 large diamonds with these 2 rectangles. So I need to mark the center of these. So I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to mark right at 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch on both sides. So let me scooch that up so that I can find 3/4 of an inch again. Okay, then I also need to find the center going this direction. So we're going to go turn it horizontal and mark it at the 1 inch mark there. And there. All right, so now I'm going to take my trimmer, and you could do this with scissors too if you don't have your trimmer handy, or you'd just rather do it with scissors. But I'm going to use my trimmer because, I don't know, I just like my trimmer. It's like my right arm. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this into a diamond shape. So I'm putting each of the marks on my cutting line, cutting that right across. Oop, that kind of shifted. Okay. One more. All right. Now I don't have to worry about the marks I made with my pencil, because I can just flip this over and glue it down on the opposite side. So no worries there. I'm going to grab my repositionable adhesive and one of my 2 by 3 inch blocks. Okay, and I'm going to add adhesive to the back of each one of these. And then go ahead and line it up. So if you're working on a grid like I am, you could line that block up, and then you know right where the center is, and you can just go ahead and put your diamond right where you know it's supposed to be. Make that side point right to the center. And you're good to go. Okay, so there's our first block all done. And this is going to go on the bottom, so we're going to place that right there. Okay, now the next block up, we're going to cut a circle into. Okay, so this is going to be another, let's see, this is going to be a 2.5 inch piece. And this one we want to put a circle into our 2.5 inch piece. So the circle punch that Creative Memories has is 1 3/4 inches. It's going to be a little bit smaller than what we want. So let me grab my templates. I meant to do this before I started, so we could decide I could decide what size we needed to use. But I think that one's going to work. So medium circle, our medium CCS circle, using the red blade in the center. That's going to be the size we want. So let me grab that. Okay, so here's my medium CCS circle. I'm going to grab some white shimmer, and I'm going to grab some gold shimmer. 1 second. Let's see if this is big enough. Not quite. Okay. So white shimmer and gold shimmer. I'm going to cut these at the same time so that they are, so I know they're exactly the same size. I could cut them separately. It'd be okay, but just to save a little time, we're going to cut them together. Okay, so we're going to go in here into the center using our red blade. Put both feet in the right track. Go around carefully. All right. And then we've got our 2 circles. We are going to make kind of like a piece of candy. At least that's what it looks like to me. On the side of the It's a Small World, there is a circle that has angular bits, and it reminds me of a candy, essentially. So I'm going to take my white circle. We're going to put our gold circle right on here. In fact, let me just go ahead and do that. So this is going to be right in the middle of this block. Okay, just like that. And then we'll get back to that in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to take my circle. I'm going to cut this in half. You can see that if you take your circle and you just rest it on the shoulders of on both sides of your cutting line, that you'll cut it in exactly down the middle every time. And it does leave just a teeny bit here at the bottom that's not cut, but it makes it super easy to cut your circle in half. Okay, now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to cut it at different angles. So I'm going to come in here. How am I going to do this? Let's see. I want to find the middle. Where's the middle of this? Right there. So find your center of your circle. Okay. And then we're going to just find different points around the edge of the circle, and we're going to cut into that center point. And it really doesn't matter what angle you cut. You just need to cut a variety. Okay, so we want some that are skinny, some that are a little wider. We're not going to use every single one of them. In fact, I probably don't even need to continue cutting from that one tiny little paper. I mean, from both of those papers stacked together, because I don't need every single one. We are going to make this kind of resemble a, it looks like it to me anyway, like a swirly piece of candy, kind of. And if it's easier for you, you can put some repositionable adhesive on the back of this so that you have a little more control over those. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here with some some foam squares, not Post-it notes. I'm okay. All right, foam squares, and we're going to add just a little tiny foam square at the wide end, and we're going to work our way around the edge of the gold and make them point into the center. And we probably only need like 5 of these. I would say choose an odd number. If either do 5 or do 7. Don't do 6. If you can help it. Okay, so just peeling these off, making the edge, the rounded edge around this side match. I'm going to do another narrow one. Be careful how narrow you make them. You don't want them to be narrower than your 1/4 inch foam square. Then you won't be able to put a foam square on it and you'll be disappointed. Do we need... I really don't want this to have an even number. What if I do that one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 2 more if I put that one too close. We'll do 2 more. Okay. I'm going to is that going to be too narrow a gap? No, I'm just going to put a foam square on this one and call it good. Okay. All right, so there is our, I feel like it resembles a piece of candy. What do you think? You can tell me what you think, but I think it looks like a piece of candy. All right, so this is going to go right above our diamonds. Leave just a bit of a gap so that you can see a line there. Okay, so just like that. Okay, now let's see. Our next piece is a piece of gold. Let's see, I've got my gold right here. Okay, so I need a 3-inch piece of gold. So 3 inches wide. And we're going to go 2.5 inches high with this one. I'm going to save that piece over here. Okay, so this one is going to go yep. Okay, I'm going to use no. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. I've done too many of these, you can tell. Okay, so I already cut this 2.5 inch piece of white, and the white is going to be the base for this one. We're going to do an arch. So let's put these two together, and we will cut, I want a piece of gold to outline this. Okay, so and we're going to make an arch. So let's see. I want how best to do this. I'm going to fold this in half. Fold this in half, and we're going to make an outline. of each of these. I really want to use this, but I think it's too small. So let me grab my other piece of this and we'll just cut another little bit. Okay, so I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch piece of this. And 2 inches high. No. Two and a half inches high. Okay, so I'm going to fold this one in half backwards so that I can make marks on it if I need to. Okay. Then I'm just going to try to eyeball this. Let's see how this turns out. Because I don't know how to do an arch. I'm going to start about 1/4 inch up and kind of, oh, no. All right, I goofed. I needed to start from the fold. I messed that up. Let's start again. Okay, another 2 inch piece. No, 2.5 inch piece. 2.5 inch piece. I know, I could hear you guys telling me, start from the fold, cut from the fold, and I just wasn't listening. This is what happens when you've done too many of these. Okay, so cutting from the fold, starting with the fold down here, I'm going to start about 1/4 inch up, and I'm just going to kind of create a little bit of an arch. Okay, just like that. I think we've done these before on other pieces. I think that needs to be shorter. I'm going to take about 1/4 inch off of that. Ta-da! Okay, great. Okay, now I'm going to use this as my pattern for cutting the gold piece, and the gold piece is going to be slightly wider. So see how I'm setting it, I'm offsetting it by just a tiny bit so that as I cut around it, it'll be a little bit taller, a little bit wider. It'll frame it essentially. So that's the goal anyway. Let's see. Let's see if it worked. Ta-da! All right, I like it when something that makes sense in my head works out on the paper. Okay, so just gonna glue these together, center them, center it in between, and glue those, or adhere those together. Then we're going to adhere this onto this next section. Okay, then we're going to adhere this onto our column All right. We have one more section and the topper to go on this one. Okay, so this piece that I mistakenly cut from gold, we are not going to use because I need a piece that is a 1/2 inch wide. So I'm going to cut a couple of strips here that are 1/2 inch wide from gold. I'm actually going to do 3. We might not need 3, but I'm going to do 3 real quick. Okay, and we're going to make some really squished diamonds, not fat ones like these two down here, but really squished ones. Okay, the way we're going to do that is we're going to use our 45-degree angle right here, and we're going to place the corner of our piece right here on the cutting line, and then the top edge of our paper is going to be on the 45-degree mark. Then we're going to move ahead and we're going to, let's see, did I do this right? I think, let me see if this is going to work. I think that might be too small. Well, we could still use it. So I'm going to move this up to the 1/2 inch mark. And we're going to, we might not even use those other 3 because this is not going to take as much paper as I thought. I was remembering doing something else. So, all right. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see how many of these we will need. So this edge on the 1/2 inch mark, keeping the top edge of my strip on the 45-degree angle mark or line. All right, I was hoping we would only need 5. Let's see if we'll need more than 5. Yeah, actually we might need another one, unless we put a little space in between all of those. You know what? I think I'm just going to use those 5. I think that'll be fine. So I'm going to set these over here for right now. Let's go ahead and adhere these. So we're just going to do the one in the center first. And I'm going to center my block on my mat so that I can see where the middle is easier. It's going to make this placement of the first one a little bit easier so that I can make sure it's straight. And then I'm just leaving just a little bit of a gap in between. Okay. There we go. All right, so here is our next block. I'm going to go ahead and add that to our tower. And then we just have the topper to do. And we're going to use gold to do the top. This is that piece that I cut that's 2.5 inches by 3 inches wide. I'm going to fold this in half again because we're going to do some cutting, and I want it to just be even on both sides. So folding it in half definitely helps make that happen. Now this piece is the goal for this piece is that it's going to look a little bit like a mushroom cap. So I'm going to start with the folded edge on the left. I'm going to start at about the halfway mark and go up about 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to go out and make a nice wide bulb, and then I'm going to bring it back in so that it comes to a point right back at the fold at the top. Okay, so something like that. All right, now we're going to just go ahead and adhere this to the top of our tower. So center it right there on the top, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to go in with my precision point scissors and I'm going to cut around this gold piece because I want to be able to see the black page that'll be underneath it. So this takes just a little bit of time and you want to be careful. And if you need to do one section at a time, then do one section at a time. This always reminds me of elementary school and learning to cut. Maybe that's because my mom taught kindergarten for a number of years. Almost there. Okay, so like that. And I'm going to put that down there. Let's grab pages. So here's the page this is going to go on, just like this. So let's go ahead and adhere this to the page. Okay, so like so. All right, and then I'm going to grab my gold pen and I'm just going to add a little bit of a line at the top of this, and it's just going to be kind of a little bit of a point. At the top of my little mushroom cap. All right, so then this layout with the opposite page will look like this. All right, tell me what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I hope that this has been fun for you to put together all these columns for It's a Small World. Done with It's a Small World. This is the last one, unless you want me to go back and show you how to do those other columns that I skipped. But otherwise, I think we're done with It's a Small World. And I'll look forward to sharing some other layouts with you for Disney in a couple weeks. Thanks so much for joining me today. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.